Hi, I'm Troy from the Badaboom podcast, and these are my top 5 picks of movies and TV shows from 2022. At number 5, we've got the Book of Boba Fett. Now, the Book of Boba Fett was kind of taken over from The Mandalorian about halfway through, but it was still a great series. I loved of all the theories that me and my friends were coming up with every single episode of what was going to happen in the show. I'm excited that we got this little update up with The Mandalorian so that his season can take off and go full steam in season 3. And I want to look back and see what happens with Boba Fett in the future. I honestly love the conversations I had with some of my friends. I found out some people in my inner circle were bigger fans of Star Wars than I thought. And this series highlighted that for me. So Book of Boba Fett created some good times for me and my friends, and so that's why it gets my number 5 pick. My number 4 is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, the first one was great, second one was good, which is rare for video game movies, but honestly, they had some great fan service. They had some great references with Knuckles, great references with Eggman, with Chaos Control, and that post-credit scene, that was the first time in the movie theater since COVID that year that I was like, wow, we're back. Like, we were back with Spider-Man No Way Home a couple months before that, but everyone was going crazy in the movie theater when we saw Shadow the Hedgehog. So it was a great time. I can't wait for the third one, and that's why it gets my number 4 pick. And number 3 is Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It was a great tribute to Chadwick. It was a great way to hand off the mantle to Shuri as the Black Panther, and it was a great way to introduce Ironheart. I think it was a great movie overall. It was a great way to end the phase 4 of the MCU, and it's still pretty fresh on my mind. This list may change in the future, but at the moment, Black Panther Wakanda Forever gets my number 3 pick. At number 2 is The Batman. Wow, I remember seeing this movie and thinking like, okay, we've had so many DC movies, like I don't have high expectations for this, and it blew me away. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about this movie for the several days after it, how they borrowed from 7 different comic book stories and put it into one movie. I had no way of predicting what was going to happen. And I feel like you do in movies that are superhero movies. You can kind of pick up little things here and there and be like, oh, that's important. That's probably going to come back later. But we borrowed from so many different stories. I was on my toes the entire time. This was a great movie. I can't wait to see what happens next with the Batman with Matt Reeves, and that's why it gets my number 2 pick. Now, before we go into my number 1 pick, I want to have an honorable mention of Disney Plus's special feature, Werewolf by Night. That was a great way to introduce new characters, not having it be a TV show, not having it be a movie. It was just the right amount of time to introduce characters, develop them, and kind of leave them on the sideline until we need to come back and bring them back into more movies or more TV series. So the special features was great. Characters were great to introduce the MonsterVerse, and for that, it gets an honorable mention. Now, my number 1 pick is The Boys Season 3. Oh my gosh, this was such a great season. Like, I wait up till midnight sometimes to watch the new episode, and people that I knew were not into superheroes or into comic books got into watching this because they wanted to see how crazy the series was. And like, it's dark, there's lots of blood, there's tons of violence, and there's like tough decisions that the characters have to make for themselves or for others. And it was something that you had to watch every single week. And like, I couldn't talk about it for 3 days after it came out at work or with anybody because people were like, nope, spoilers, I want to get up and leave right now if you start talking about it. So everyone I knew was talking about it. It was a great thing to talk with friends and think of theories, and the ending was great, and I can't wait to see what happens with the next season. And for that, The Boys Season 2 is my number 1 pick. Now, with every list of great things, there's also a list of not so great things. These are my picks for the worst things in this year, and it's actually only one. Some people might think it's Morbius, but honestly, the memes from Morbius redeemed itself. So it's actually now going to be Black Adam. I don't think Black Adam talked hardly at all in this movie. I think the kid in this movie had more lines than Black Adam, more than The Rock. The Rock hates to look weak in a movie, and he wants to be strong and be tough all the time. And like, that's not how you really develop as a character sometimes. It wasn't a good movie. I wanted to walk out several times, but hopefully now with the direction of James Gunn, we'll get some content that is maybe a little bit more true to the comics, has some heroes that or anti-heroes that are maybe a little bit more humble about how things are going to be approached. It'd be maybe cool to see The Rock back as Black Adam, but hopefully with a better story and some better dialogue for sure. And with that, those are my top picks for great and my one pick for not so great things that came out in 2022. What was your favorites, or what did you not like that came out in 22? Let us know in the comments below, and let us know what you're looking forward to in 2023. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Troy with the Badaboom Podcast.